listen to that, and listen to that, and listen to that. It was such a blessing. Are we not blessed with kids? Yeah! Now, Leah mentioned earlier that we're going to be turning things around. We think we can get 10 more chairs in this room. Now, I don't want you to think that means we're not still looking for our next larger space. So keep your eyes and ears and hearts wide open. This is kind of a temporary fix because Spirit has just not revealed this next place yet. Right. And definitely, if any of you know anything about cameras, then you know more than I do. And so we need some camera expertise. We're going to be making a few changes. Not only will the chairs go this way, instead of having our rusty trusty projector, which is like many, many years old, we're going to get a monitor so that the people in the back will be able to see better. Since it'll be a longer way. So some changes coming up, and if you want, and one of the things in our new space is we're going to have more room, and we're going to have, we're going to have room for little ones because, hi there, sweetie. Okay, I'm going to try to not get distracted. Yeah. He's a cutie though, so it's going to be hard. Let's see, was that everything? Oh, another thing I wanted to tell you about, you will notice that Leah and I have these beautiful glasses. Now, a couple of weeks ago, Brian announced that he was having a Shabbat. That's what you're calling it, right? No, a Shabbat. Oh! Because it's Shabbat. And also, he's doing art. And we have That's great. Perfect. And so some of us went, there were about 4 of us from here, and we got to help make a bowl that is so beautiful. Now, you're going to do this on a regular basis?
Yeah, monthly.
Monthly? First Friday?
Yeah. It's actually going to be last Friday.
Last Friday, okay.
Yeah.
So keep us informed of that because it was so cool. And then there was a wonderful Shabbat with the prayers and special foods and time to connect and share what was on our hearts. And it was just really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
And these are glasses that Brian made. Now I said, we need some glasses for the front of the sanctuary. And he said, ooh, I've got some special ones. They're signed and they were made through a rabbinical conference. So they've been blessed and blessed and blessed. So anytime you look at them, or see me drinking this blessed water. Sweet, sweet, sweet. So I want to thank Brian for sharing his heart and his art with us.
Brian is a gift.
Yes.
Seriously.
Yeah. Okay. Our 2019 theme is Spirituality in Action. February theme is the common good. And today we're talking about our shared humanity. Now last week we talked about oneness, about how there's only one thing happening here, that we are all part of this amazing thing that we can call the universe or God or whatever. And this week what we're going to talk about is the fact that we are not only one with that is not only what lives us, but we, because of that, are one with each other. One with each other. There's only one humanity, and we are part of it all. Now, it's not true in all cultures, but in our Western culture, it seems that there's been kind of an encouragement to go after what you want because of the individualism and materialism. Like, go after what you want and don't worry about the price. Don't worry about who's scrutinising it. Don't worry about what the results are. Just go for what you want. Go. And corporations do this. Some people do this. And I mean, an example, of course, is corporations that decide that bottom line is what's important. Profit. This is all about profit. It doesn't matter if our workers don't make a living wage. It doesn't matter if if what we do uses up the resources, wastes or depletes the resources of the earth. It doesn't matter if we use shoddy materials. This is all about profit, all about profit. And that is not the way we are going to bring humanity together. That's not the way we're going to realize our oneness. That's not the way we're going to feel our connection and live from that amazing connection. I love this example from an online writer named Giovanni. And Giovanni says, this situation is like if every cell in your body decided to act on its own and consume as much nutrients and energy as it could, even more than it needs. Soon, parts of your body would get sick. And that would damage the health of your whole body, including the health of those greedy cells. You know that the health of the whole is so very important. And the challenge is making the individual cells, Giovanni goes on to say, clearly understand two things: their relationship with each other and the whole, and what it means to be a healthy cell. I'm going to get back to the cell things in a little bit. Dr. Albert Einstein said, a human being is part of the whole, called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts, and his feelings as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Widen our circle of compassion. Yeah. And the Buddha said, he who in pursuit of his own happiness hurts others that are also seeking happiness will not find it, either in this world or the next. Now, the Science of Mind and Spirit, our teaching, is an alternative way. It's another way to look at things, other than this materialistic way that has been presented to us for pretty much as long as we've been alive. I'm thinking, yeah, And in the spirit, Science of Mind and Spirit, we get a chance to focus on our connection, focus on our connection to the divine, and focus on our connection to each other. So, what do you want in life? Do you want to live in peace?
Yes.
Yes.
You want to be able to provide for your family?
Yes.
You want to have basic needs like food and clean water and shelter and safety?
Yes.
You want to be happy and free from suffering?
Yes.
You want to know that life will be good, can be good for your children and your grandchildren and their grandchildren? Well, here's the deal, folks. That's what everybody in the world wants. The people in China want that. The people who live on beautiful islands want that. The Syrian refugees want that. Those who live in ghettos want that. One human family. We all share those desires, wanting our kids' lives to be wonderful, wanting their lives to be better than ours were, wanting the future to open up for humanity in a wondrous way. This is part of our shared humanity. Remembering that we're one, that we're not only part of the same, we come from the same spiritual origins, and we come from the same biological origins. Absolutely, as we remember that, can remind us that, there's just one of us here. We show up in different bodies, in different magic suits, for different periods of time, but it's all spirit expressing in through it as us, and we are connected. in a fractured world where there's so much separation, so much divisiveness, so much talk about it being hopeless, isn't it time that we realized, that we learned, that we remembered something that'll make a difference for us, that we are one? And that compassion is an amazing way to remember that this is true for all people. That what we want for ourselves, what we want for our loved ones, what we want for our friends, what we want for our children and our families could be what we want for everyone, because we are all cells in a larger organism. The understanding of our shared humanity can help to stop wars, it can stop violence, it can make a difference in the way business happens, it can make a difference in professional relationships, it can make a difference in what happens to our precious planet. It can make a difference in, of course, our own joy. So absolutely, moving through this world, remembering our shared humanity can make a huge difference for us, the little cell, and the whole organism, the whole being. Now, to go back to the metaphor of the cells in your body, it's like each cell taking care of itself, using what it needs, but not taking more than it needs, and also working in cooperation with the whole, knowing that there is the whole and that we are part of it, and actions that we take, words that we speak, affect the whole. And so, it's important, folks. Pay attention. Let's see. The Dalai Lama once said that compassion is a necessity, not a luxury. It is a question of human survival. A question of human survival. And being a part of a spiritual community, gathering together as we have here, helps us to remember that. Helps us to remember that we are not only one with the divine, whatever we call it, but we are one with each other. It can help us realize that as we are on our own spiritual journeys, as we open up to greater understanding, greater ways of using these amazing tools that we have in Science and Mind and Spirit to bring more joy into our lives, to bring greater health into our lives, to bring wonder and awe into our lives. As we do that, we support the whole. I loved that your readings were just perfect. It's like, as we do that, we support the whole. Spiritual community helps us to listen to new ideas, think about things that maybe we haven't thought of for a while, or maybe we haven't thought of ever, and to contemplate that, and then to see where it takes us, where Spirit leads us as we respond to what we learned here. Humans are social animals. Have you noticed? Have you noticed? Right. Yeah. Even those of us who absolutely require silence and solitude, we need people. All of us need people. And of course, and it's wonderful that we have a little one here this morning, because, humans have to take care of their young longer than any other species on Earth. Now, I'm not talking, our children need our care. I'm not talking about the boomerang generation, the 30s and 20s. Present company except. She's not out of school yet. But when you think about the little ones, humanity would not survive if we didn't care for them. Did you hear, I heard this a week or so ago, there was a 3-year-old, I think it was in North Carolina, who was lost in the woods for 3 days. 3 days before he was found. And I thought it was fascinating because what he said was a bear helped him. A bear helped him. Now, I don't know, but I really wonder if it was a bear in physical form or a spirit bear.
Yeah.
But obviously, something helped that kid. But you know, that sweet little one would not have survived very long without someone to provide food and water and shelter. So, it was amazing, amazing that he was found. Yeah, okay, but humans need to take care of their young. Otherwise, the human race would not go on, because if we didn't take care of the little ones, they wouldn't grow up, and then they wouldn't reproduce, and you got it. Yeah, so it's important. And scientists have also found that there's a biological basis for compassion. Biological basis for compassion. When we feel compassion, when we want to reach out with that compassion, some things happen in our bodies. Our hearts slow down. Our bodies begin to produce the hormone oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone. I hope I said that right. And regions of the brain. They do these brain scans now that are just amazing. Regions of the brain that are associated with empathy and caring and pleasure light up when we think compassionate thoughts, when we do compassionate deeds, when we witness compassionate deeds even. So we are physiologically wired for kindness and compassion. Take a moment to think about that. That's what your body is set up for. Humanity, we would not have evolved this far if it wasn't for caring for each other. I read something, and I don't remember exactly where I read it, but it was just in this past week or so, that the phrase, the survival of the fittest, was not coined by Darwin. It was coined by someone else some years later. And that Darwin actually said survival of the, and I'm thinking it was kindness. But it was something like that. I didn't write it down. Darn. But isn't that amazing? It's not the survival of the fittest. If we don't work together, folks, we're not going to make it as a species. So we are physiologically just geared up to be enthusiastic and compassionate and kind to others. And I'm sure you all know that. If you see somebody in pain, whether it's a loved one, someone on the street, someone on TV, at the news that's involved in a natural disaster or something like that, when we see something like that, when we see someone suffering, there's something in us that responds. There's something in us, whether we act on it or not, that wants to help. Now, we've been taught a lot of things that keep us from reaching out and helping. And we can't do everything, let's be reasonable, but there is something in us that wants to help when we see people suffering. We want to relieve that suffering for others just like we would want to relieve it for ourselves. When we truly understand how each of our lives are connected, how each of our lives are intertwined, not just us here, not just us in our country, not just us in our hemisphere, all over the globe. As we realize that, collaboration becomes easier, cooperation becomes easier, life becomes easier for all. Now, I love that acting on our compassion is healing for us as well. When we do something something that, helps somebody else. Doesn't it feel good? Doesn't it feel good? There's an ancient parable of a woman whose only son died. She was, of course, heartbroken, just devastated. And so she went to the Buddha and said, please, can't you do some magic, some kind of incantation, some prayer, something to bring him back to life? Now, he could have said, that's not going to happen. But instead, what he said was, what I need you to do is go and find me a mustard seed from a home that has never known sadness, a home that has never known grief, a home that has never known trouble. Bring that mustard seed back, and we will use that to alleviate your pain, and we will use that mustard seed. Just be one. So she goes out and starts knocking on doors. The first door she knocks on is this splendid mansion, and they open the door, and she said, I'm looking for a home that has never been touched by sorrow, and I need a mustard seed. And they said, you've come to the wrong place. So they went on to tell her about the things that they were experiencing at the time, the hardships that they have, the pain, their own grief. And she thought, well, what better person than me to help them a little bit? And so she stayed with them a while. She listened to them. She connected with them. She had compassion for them. And then she went on to other homes. I'm looking for a home that has never known sorrow. Well, she never found that. But in each place, what she found was an opportunity to open her heart and to serve. To open her heart and to serve. And so though she never found that mustard seed, it was truly a magical mustard seed, because it is what led her, what allowed the sorrow to be driven from her life. Compassion. Compassion. And so how can we take this home? It doesn't do much good if we just listen to it and then go home and forget it. What can we do this week to remember and appreciate our shared humanity? Well, it may not surprise you, but I have a suggestion. When you look in the mirror each morning, or when you wash your face and brush your teeth, just imagine the faces all over the globe. The faces all over this beautiful blue planet that we live on. Imagine them and remember that even though their eyes are a different color, their hair is a different color, their skin may be a different color, they may speak different languages and practice different religions, they may celebrate different holidays, but we can remember our oneness. We can remember that they too want to be happy and free of suffering. We can remember that they too want their children's needs to be met. They too want hope for future generations. Just like you. Just like you. And so what I encourage you to do is allow yourselves to feel the compassion in your heart. And I know lots of times we want to avoid thinking about what's going on with other people. But it can be amazing to stop and feel our compassion. And then to allow our compassion to live in our lives, to come forth and express in our words and in our actions. So when you look in the mirror or feel your face or whatever you do, remember that your face is just one of many that are all connected. You up for that?
Yes.
Okay. move into prayer, let's say our affirmation together. My compassionate heart expresses through my words and actions. Once more. My compassionate heart expresses through my words and actions. And I invite practitioners to stand with me in high consciousness as we move into prayer. There's only one of us here. Just God. In so many different forms. But this is just some of the forms. And we are connected. We are all connected at a heart level. Connected to each other, all the ones here. Connected to anyone we think about. Connected to anyone we don't know about. Connected to those people that we may think of as enemies. Connected to those people that we may not like. There is a oneness that runs through all of us. We are called in this oneness to awaken to our compassion. We are called to allow love that is in our hearts to flow forward. It doesn't mean we need to interact with people that we don't like, but we can still send them love. It doesn't mean that we need to go out and spend 24 hours a day serving others. But there's absolutely so much power in prayer, in knowing the highest and best for all people, in wishing the highest and best for all people, in intending the world to be a better place, and then in listening to the divine, as we are guided as to where to shine our love, where to shine our service, where to shine our compassion. And so I know that as each of us goes forth this week, that we are led. Our paths are filled with sweet reminders of our oneness with all divinity and all humanity. Sweet reminders that we make a difference in the world with the choices we make, with the words we speak, with the energies that we put out. And so I claim this to be a delightful, powerful week for each one here. As the blessings just overflow and are shared. And so I know this is good, I know this is very good, I know I have spoken only the truth, and that the law, that part of God that responds to what we know deep in our heart, it only says yes. And so all of this is done. All of this is done. And we are each invited to walk forth in this truth as if there has never been another truth. Right now, we decide what we will step into, and I declare that it is love. I'm grateful, it's done, and so it is.